Good evening. Last night, the college football world lost one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game. Last night, the legendary Lou Holtz passed away. He was 89 years old. Tonight, on this very special edition of TXN Sports World, we will pay our respects to this legendary coach. And in addition, we will also preview the 2026 World Baseball Classic. This is TXN Sports World. Hello and good evening, friends. Welcome to this very special edition of TXN Sports World. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he should come in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Speaking of Michael Bullock, he was the one who messaged us a little over 24 hours ago with the news that the man in the photo that you see right there, one of the most legendary coaches in the history of college football, and the last coach to lead my team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, to a national championship all the way back in 1988, Lou Holtz. Unfortunately, we got the sad news that he passed away, 89 years old. He turned 89 back in January, and a myriad of health issues, and unfortunately, he lost the battle. So let me for one moment get into the schematics here for this legendary coach. Louis Leo Holtz, born January 6, 1937, passed away yesterday at the age of 89. He was an American college football coach and television analyst. He served as the head football coach for several programs, starting at the College of William and Mary from 1969 to 1971, North Carolina State University from 1972 to 1975. He actually coached in the NFL with the New York Jets in 1976. And then he went back to college the following year from 1977 to 1983, was the head football coach at the University of Arkansas Razorbacks, and then the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers from 1984 to 1985. His most successful stint, of course, with the University of Notre Dame from 1986 to 1996, and then his final stop, the University of South Carolina from 1999 to 2004. Compiled a career college head coaching record of 249, 132, and 7. Holtz's 1988 Notre Dame team went 12-0 with a victory in the Fiesta Bowl over West Virginia and was voted the consensus national champion. Holtz is the only college football coach to lead 6 different programs to bowl games and the only coach to guide 4 different programs to the final top 15 rankings. After retiring from coaching, Holtz worked as a TV college football analyst for CBS Sports in the 1990s and then on ESPN from 2005 until 2015. And then Lou Holtz was elected to the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. Holtz was elected to the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Donald Trump on December 3rd, 2020. Holtz was also elected to the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame in 1983 and the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame in 2012. He received the Golden Plate Award of the American Academy of Achievement in 1990. The Upper Ohio Valley Museum and Learning Center at the Lou Holtz Hall of Fame was established in his hometown of East Liverpool, Ohio, which inducted him as part of its inaugural class in 1998. Holtz was awarded numerous honorary degrees, He was presented an honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of Notre Dame on May 22nd, 2011. Holtz was also awarded an honorary Doctor of Education from the University of South Carolina on December 17th, 2012. Holtz was awarded an honorary Doctor in Public Service from Trine University and elected to the Board of Trustees in 2011. Trine also honored Holtz in 2013 by naming a program the Lou Holtz Master of Science and Leadership Program. He was also presented an honorary doctorate in communications from Franciscan University of Steubenville on May 9th, 2015, and delivered a commencement address. He went 13-20 he went 13-20 overall at William and Mary. He went 33-12-3 at NC State, including 2 bowl wins, winning the Peach Bowl in 1972 and the Liberty Bowl in 1973, and tied in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl in 1974. With the Arkansas Razorbacks, that's where he really took off. Went 60, 21-2, and won 3 bowl games. That he took Arkansas to the Orange Bowl in 1977, led them to the Hall of Fame Classic Championship in 1980, and won the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl in 1982. He did not fare well in Minnesota. He lasted 2 years in Minnesota, went 10-12. His greatest success, of course, with Notre Dame, 100 wins, 30 losses, and 2 ties, including 5 bowl wins. And of course, the most notable of them all, the 1988 Fiesta Bowl, a victory over West Virginia, and Notre Dame went on to win the national championship. The following year, 1989, they won the Orange Bowl. 1991 led them to the Sugar Bowl. And then in 1992 and 1993, won the Cotton Bowl, which was a bowl coalition or a bowl alliance bowl there. South Carolina, he went 33-37, but he did take them to 2 bowl victories, led them to the Outback Bowl title in both 2000 and 2001. And he had 1 year in the NFL with the New York Jets in 1976. They finished a dismal 3-10 that year. He wrote or contributed 10 books. Very impressive. And then, of course, in the world of broadcasting, he worked for CBS Sports as a college football analyst and in the same capacity for ESPN. He worked on the secondary studio team located in Bristol, Connecticut, as opposed to the game site. He typically appeared on pregame, halftime, and postgame shows of college football games. In addition, he appeared on College Football Scoreboard, College Football Final, College Football Live, Sports Center, and the occasional game. He typically partnered with Reese Davis and Mark May. And there was a little bit of some controversy, but we don't want to address that controversy. So, and then his broadcasting career ended on April 12th of 2015 when he left ESPN after a controversial comment about then Michigan head coach Rich Rodriguez. But nonetheless, Lou Holtz, one of the all-time greats. And earlier this evening, I had a chat with my fellow Notre Dame fan, Brian Keenan. And Brian and we talked about, the legacy he had. But it was mostly the Notre Dame stuff. I mean, he was very successful in almost all of his spots, but he did. His biggest spots were Notre Dame, obviously, Arkansas, and those were the 2 notables. I mean, he did an incredible job at Notre Dame and Arkansas. I mean, he made Arkansas a notable team but it cannot be argued. His greatest success, of course, was Notre Dame with 100 wins, and was the last coach to lead them to the national championship in 1988. I mean, it doesn't matter which team that you root for out of the teams he coached. We're all gutted by this announcement. I mean, I was gutted by this announcement. Brian was gutted by this announcement. And I'm sure MF and Bullock, I'm sure they were gutted too. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the game or not. I mean, tonight we're gonna remember this man for the outstanding job he did when he put on the headset. I mean, he was one of the greatest to ever do it. And of course, his legacy lives on through his son, Skip Holtz. And MF knows all about Skip Holtz. Skip Holtz led MF's team, the Birmingham Stallions, to three consecutive championships in 22, 23, and 24. A USFL championship and 2 UFL championships. Or actually, it was 2 USFL championships and the inaugural UFL championship. Made the Birmingham Stallions the most dominant team in that league, even though they got their comeuppance a year ago. So the Holtz family legacy lives on. And, it's the hardest for me. And it's also hard for Brian, too, because we're diehard Notre Dame fans. And all the Golden Domers, all the legends who played for him, and all the Notre Dame fans, and the fans of Arkansas, South Carolina, William and Mary, Minnesota, you name it. They're all in mourning tonight. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, especially his son Skip, and the entire Holtz family. We're thinking of you. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences with all of you. All the players he coached at every stint. And as we typically say when we have one of these, to Lou Holtz, we very simply say, thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. But most of all, we thank you for Lou Holtz. Rest in power, my friend. Godspeed. Thank you for everything. Especially Notre Dame, and especially that championship. We'll never forget you. Not much more for me to add. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher, come on in. Lou Holtz, 89 years old. One of the greatest to ever do it in the college game. What else is there to say?
Yeah, it was a shocking death. This one definitely hits a little closer to home. We do know later in his life that he was kind of on the verge, but for Lou, this was exactly what he was. He was always a great guy, this great modern day, legendary, history making, coach. And it was hard when he passed away because it was, like you said, it was out of nowhere. And a lot of things happened for a reason. And, you know, it was a shocker. And I'll openly admit it was a shocker. I think a lot of people didn't know, the impact that he has on not just college football, but just in life in general, makes him the most unique individual in the history of the game. When you think about the legends of the game, like Lloyd Carr, like Lou Holtz, like the Bobby Bowdens, the Joe Paternos, those are guys that is so synonymous with their organizations. If you think about Notre Dame football, you think of Lou Holtz. You think of what he did in his time. And yeah, the teams that he had, especially in the late 80s, early 90s, were juggernauts. I think we all remember what he did There was the game of the century, the number one versus number two. When they went up against Florida State, how everybody thought FSU was definitely there. A lot of people thought FSU was probably going to win the national championship that year, and it wasn't. Notre Dame knocked them out. There was the big stampede. We all remember the game. The game was a 5-star classic, and Notre Dame was always a team that you had to respect. You had to admire because they were there for the great moments. But at the end of the day, it was shocking enough. It was amazing what he did, and you were well respected and well loved in college football. And it's one man that I will forever remember as one of the greatest to do it in the game. So yes, there's really nothing more to add. Anthony, it is all Michael Bullock. Welcome to the show. Yeah, Lou Holtz. He may be gone, but his legacy will live on, especially through the hearts of all the Fighting Irish around the country.
Amen.
Yeah, Lou Holtz was definitely one of the greatest coaches in the history of college football. I mean, mostly, of course, with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I know in the latter part of his coaching career, he did spend it with South Carolina, but it's mostly remembered during his time with the Fighting Irish. I mean, with what he did for that school, and yeah, and then after, of course, like you said, his coaching career, he basically goes on to become an analyst at ESPN, and he made appearances on Scoreboard, Final. I mean, College Football Live. I mean, yes, it did end. His broadcasting career did come to an end with a little controversy, but we, like you said, we're trying to focus more on the positives than the negatives when it comes to this. So you guys pretty much said everything. So yeah, definitely thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the entire Holtz family. So yeah, Lou Holtz, he may be gone, but his legacy is going to live on forever. Rest in peace, Lou Holtz. Like I said, you may be gone, but you will never, ever be forgotten. Let's move on, Florio.
As hard as it is, we must indeed move on, and we're going to do it in the most positive way we can. So tonight's show is indeed dedicated to the memory of Lou Holtz. So so not much more to say on that. So now we will get into our preview of the 2026 World Baseball Classic. World Baseball Classic actually started today, as a matter of fact. And yes, indeed. So here we go. Here we go. Baseball's premier international tournament is back. 20 teams from all over the globe are set to vie for supremacy at the 2026 World Baseball Classic, which actually started last night. In the end, only one will stand tall. How will it all play out? Well, we're going to predict the pool winners and who we think will ultimately win the World Baseball Classic. Of course, we have games all over the Fox family of networks. And let's run it down. So it actually started. I know it started yesterday. I know there was a game yesterday. Just bear with me for one moment.
It started last night at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Australia beating Chinese Taipei 3-0.
Yep, there it is. I see it here. Yep. My thing was loading a little slowly. Today, Czechia went up against Korea. and Korea smashed them 11-4. And we have a game going on at this hour on Fox Sports 1, Australia going up against Czechia. So keep an eye out on that. So looking at our so let's break it all down here. We had some pre-friendly games, and and some of these teams actually played spring training games as well. So we're gonna start it off with Pool A, and these games and all games in Pool A will be played at the Hiram Bythorn Stadium in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So, in no particular order, here are the teams in Pool A. We have Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. I got to go with, I'm going to say it like this. I like Puerto Rico and Canada to come out of this group, but I think Puerto Rico ultimately will win the group. Puerto Rico is absent a number of household names, but still appears to be one of the top teams in the tournament as it pursues its first title. Team Canada has a good chance to advance to the knockout stage for the first time in World Baseball Classic history, in part due to its favorable pool assignment, but also because it has assembled more Major League Baseball talent than ever before. So, I ultimately have to go with Puerto Rico and Canada when it comes to Pool A. So that's who I like. So MF, looking at Pool A here, Puerto Rico, Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama. Who do you like here?
I kind of agree with Puerto Rico winning the group. I also believe that Canada will be the second team out there. If you want me to give you a sleeper pick, Anthony, and a team that I would definitely keep a close eye who could actually sneak to the second spot, it's Colombia. And the reason why I got to say Colombia is they got a lot of good young players, especially on the Colombian side. On the hitting side, pitching side, they're a little lacking there. But a lot of Colombians that they do have is from their Colombian professional league. Oh, by the way, about a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, Colombia had a team called Cainales de Barranquilla that actually ended up winning the Series de Caribe, which is the Caribbean World Series, their version of the Caribbean World Series, and they won the whole thing. Colombia beating teams like Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Carrizal, Venezuela, and some others to become the best baseball team in the Caribbean. About 3 years ago, they won the whole thing. So there could be a chance where you could see Colombia maybe make some names, and some of those players from Caimales de Barranquilla is actually in the WBC this time around. So they might be the sleeper pick, but I totally agree with you. I think it will be at the end. I do believe it will be I do believe when it's all said and done, it should be Puerto Rico and Canada, the top two. So Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I definitely got Puerto Rico and Canada to come out of that pool. I mean, even though overall I think Puerto Rico, I mean, like you said, I think it's the first team that'll come out. But yeah, Canada is going to be that other team. So I got to go with Puerto Rico and Canada in this. So let's preview the next pool.
Okay, and Pool A action, by the way, begins tomorrow. Cuba squares off against Panama, and Puerto Rico squares off against Colombia. Canada will play their first game on Saturday. And just looking, yep. So So that's the story. Hiram Bythorn Stadium, San Juan, Puerto Rico, for Pool A, and that action and their games start tomorrow. We move on now to Pool B, and all Pool B games will be played at formerly Enron Field, formerly Astros Field, and formerly Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. It's now known as Daikin Park, and it will be in Houston. And those games will begin also tomorrow. So before we have MF started off, let's take a look at who's in who are the 5 teams in Pool B. Once again, in no particular order, it will be Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, and Team USA. MF, Pool B, I think we all know who comes out of this group.
Team USA is the overwhelming favorites. They are the ones that I think everybody believes is going to win the World Baseball Classic here. The reason why is because of the heartbreak that happened 3 years ago when they lost in the final, the championship game against Japan, and a lot of the biggest names, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Paul Skeens, they all saw this and they're like, this is not happening again. We are joining Team USA to rewrite a wrong. This is similar to the Redeem team after the United States lost the gold when the U.S. basketball team failed in the Olympics. This is similar to when the men's hockey team lost in the Four Nations. This triggered an outcry by Team USA to literally bring in the so-called Avengers to rewrite a wrong, to make sure that this time around the results would be different, that the United States will end up winning the World Baseball Classic. That's why you got everything that went down there. Now, as far as the second team comes out of it, I got to go with Mexico. Mexico has always been a very dangerous team in the World Baseball Classic. In recent years, they've always been a real, true, amazing squad. For me, I think Mexico should be the second team out more than anything else. So that's the 2. USA and Mexico comes out of this group. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, I got to go with Team USA. I mean, as the first team, not only to come out of the to not only go out come out of the pool, but to also win it all. Because now when you add Aaron Judge, Paul Skeens, you know that's their way of saying, hey, we ain't losing this again. We're gonna make sure we're gonna come out of it this time. So yeah, I got Team USA, and then I got Mexico as well as the second team to come out of that pool. So it's yours, Florio.
And I am going to make it unanimous. I 100% agree. I have Team USA winning the group, and I have Mexico finishing second. The United States returns to the World Baseball Classic with perhaps its most talented roster ever, looking to avenge its narrow loss to Japan in the 2023 championship game and take home their second World Baseball Classic championship. The Americans will need to take care of business in Pool B first, and we do not expect that to be an issue. Mexico and Italy both made the knockout stage in 2023, but if the U.S. advances out of Pool B as expected, at least one of those teams will be going home early. I believe Mexico, with a roster led by Alejandro Kirk, Jarren Duran, and Randy Arozarena, will be the one to move on alongside of Team USA. So USA and Mexico, give me those two to come out of Pool B. We move on next to Pool C. And all Pool C games will emanate from the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan. And in Pool C, in no particular order, it will be, we have Australia, Chinese Taipei, Czechia, Japan, and Korea. Michael Bullock, Pool C. Again, I say, I think we all know who comes out of this group.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, it's Japan that's going to come out of Pool C as the first team. I mean, especially when you got the best player, not only to come out of Japan, but in all of baseball, and Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, you definitely got a chance here. So definitely, Japan is definitely going to come out of that pool. As far as the second team goes, who are the other teams, Florio?
In Pool C, we have, in addition to Japan, we have Australia, Chinese Taipei, Czechia, and Korea.
Oh man, I mean, it's tough for me to see who that second team is going to come out. I mean, Japan's definitely going to be the one. I'm going to go with Korea to come out of there. So, I mean, that's the thing. But to me, no matter what, they're going to have a tough time, especially with Japan. So, it's yours, Florio.
Once again, we agree. I too also have Japan and Korea advancing out of Pool C. The most successful team in World Baseball Classic history with 3 titles, Samurai Japan features 10 players who are on the 2023 championship team, including the best player in the game today and MVP of the 2023 World Baseball Classic, Shohei Ohtani, whose memorable game-ending strikeout of then Angels teammate Mike Trout in the championship game against Team USA clinched the title for Japan. Ohtani will not be pulling two-way duty this time, but Japan should still be plenty formidable on both sides of the ball. Japan, obviously, a unanimous pick to come out of Pool C. Unanimous pick to advance, with Korea also drawing significant support, as Bullock just mentioned. After a strong run that saw them win gold at the 2008 Olympics and advance to the finals against Japan at the World Baseball Classic a year later in 2009, the Korean national team has struggled lately, failing to advance past the first round in each of the last 3 World Baseball Classics. They will look to reverse that trend here in 2026. So, no need to worry, Bullock. You got this one right. It is Japan and it is Korea, who I believe will come out of Pool C. So, give me Japan and Korea. MF, are we going to make that unanimous?
I will say yes to Japan. Korea, I need to see, because right now, Anthony, if you've been watching the World Baseball Classic, Australia is making noise right now. They won yesterday. They're winning at this hour. They're up 3-1. And I don't know, guys. I think I might disagree and say that I might actually say Australia might be the second team out, the way they've been playing. So I'm keeping a watchful eye on Australia and the baseball ruse, as they call them. I think they might get it. They might go through. I think they might get this. So I'm gonna say Japan and Australia are my 2. So, Florio, it's yours.
And we have one group left, and that is Pool D. And all Pool D games will be played at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida, the home of the Miami Marlins. So let's take a look at who represents Pool D. In no particular order, we have Israel, the Netherlands, Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, and Venezuela. The Dominican Republic and Venezuela. they're looking like overwhelming favorites to advance to the knockout stage. In a massive letdown, the Dominicans did not qualify for the quarterfinals in 2023. Nevertheless, they will once again enter the World Baseball Classic with sky-high expectations, befitting a roster loaded with some of the biggest stars in the world. No one is going to be surprised if they run the table like they did in 2013. But don't sleep on the Venezuelans. They have plenty of star power also, and they will go into this World Baseball Classic with added motivation after a bitter defeat against Team USA in the quarterfinals in 2023, when Trey Turner's go-ahead grand slam on the top of the 8th inning dashed Venezuela's championship dreams. So when it comes to Pool D, my picks are the Dominican Republic and Venezuela. MF, what says you?
I agree. I think it's Dominican Republic and Venezuela. To me, the Dominican Republic is probably the third team that could win the World Baseball Classic. Everybody says USA. Everybody says Japan could repeat. I can give you those two. But I think the third team is DR. The Dominican Republic are on a mission. You know, the thing that kind of worries me about the Dominican Republic, to be honest, has to be their pitching. Because hitting wise, they got some of the biggest bats in the world that could rival the USA, could rival any country in the world. So I think that might be the way it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna say honestly, truthfully, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, DR and Venezuela should be the two teams that goes through. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous, and I'm gonna go with the Dominican Republic and Venezuela to come out as well. I mean, yeah, Dominican Republic. I mean, I think, like you said, I think it's the third team that I think that could possibly win it all. So yeah, definitely. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Florio.
The 8 teams that come out of it will then advance into the knockout stage. The top 2 teams from each pool will advance to the single elimination bracket. Houston will host 2 quarterfinal games between the top 2 teams in Pool A and the top 2 teams in Pool B, while the other 2 quarterfinals between the top 2 teams in Pool C and the top 2 teams in Pool D and the rest of the tournament will take place at Lone Depot Park in Miami. If the United States makes the knockout stage, their game will be played on March 13th, regardless of whether they finished first or second in Pool B. If Japan makes the knockout stage, their game will be played on March 14th, regardless of whether they finished first or second in Pool C. The quarterfinal winners will then be reseeded for the semifinals. The semifinals will take one semifinal will be on March 15th, the other will be on March 16th, and then the championship game will be on Tuesday, March 17th, aka St. Patrick's Day, from the Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. This will be broadcast all over the world, but here in the United States, it will be on the Fox family of networks. And, well, there's now the age-old question: who ultimately comes out of the World Baseball Classic? Who ultimately goes all the way and wins it all? So I think it's only fitting our Joe Buck, our Joe Davis, good old MF Michael Fletcher starts that off. So MF, who do you have winning the 2026 World Baseball Classic? We have, based on our predictions, there was USA, there was Japan, there was the Dominican Republic, there was Venezuela, Korea was in there, Mexico, and then there was Puerto Rico and Canada. I believe we picked to come out of it.
I actually picked Australia instead of Korea.
Oh, Australia. Okay, you Australia. Yep.
But to me, honestly, it's down to 3.
Yep.
It's to the USA,
Yep.
Japan,
Yep.
and the Dominican Republic.
Same with me too.
Those were the 3 that I thought going in.
Absolutely.
Those are the 3 that I believe could end up winning it all. I say it will be Team USA. I believe the United States are on an axe to grind. I think the way that they've been playing, especially during the preseason, they are on a mission. If you've been listening throughout, especially a couple of days ago, you had the Pat McAfee show. He was talking to Aaron Judge. He was talking to guys like Paul Skeens. He was talking to guys like and the thing, he was also talking to Bryce Harper, and you heard the comments they were making that 3 years ago was awakening, a moment in time for them that they needed to rewrite this wrong. This, again, just like how I felt like the Four Nations was a wake up call to USA Hockey, the failure in the Olympics in 2004 in Athens was a wake up call to the USA Basketball. This tournament was a wake up call to the US Baseball squad. And that is why I believe they're winning the World Baseball Classic, because they're going to want to rewrite the wrong that happened 3 years ago. They have that moment of the strikeout of that strikeout of Mike Trout. They have that well etched in their minds of rewriting that mistake. And with this squad, where I believe this is the best U.S. squad they've ever had for the World Baseball Classic, I do believe the United States will win the tournament this year. They are out for blood this time around, and it doesn't matter what country's after them. They want this bad. So to me, it will be Team USA. The U.S. wins the World Baseball Classic. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with USA as well to win it. I mean, because like you said, they haven't forgotten about what happened 3 years ago when, I mean, the heartbreak. I mean, to be that close and for Japan to come out, I think that, and what the team USA has this time around, they're not going to let this opportunity slip by them. So give me USA. It's yours, Florio.
Make it unanimous. I'm going with Team USA to win as well. Going into this tournament, I mean, Japan, they are the defending champions and a 3-time winner of the World Baseball Classic. But it's Team USA. I mean, but then again, I mean, like MF said, there are 3 teams. It's Team USA, it's Japan, and it's the Dominican Republic. And it's not hard to understand why Team USA is such a popular pick. When you look at the roster that the Americans have assembled, even though Tariq Skubal will be limited to just 1 start, Team USA's pitching staff is much stronger than it was 3 years ago, with the likes of Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, and Mason Miller among the team's newcomers on the mound. Meanwhile, the position player group has added Aaron Judge, who all, by the way, will be the team captain. Cal Raleigh, big dumper of the Seattle Mariners. Gunnar Henderson, Bryce Harper, Alex Bregman, Byron Buxton, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Bullock's guy, Roman Anthony. Kansas City's Bobby Witt Jr. also figures to play a much larger role than he did as a bench player for Team USA in 2023, having since established himself as one of the top players in the game. And speaking of Bobby Witt Jr., he's my one to watch. I mean, yes, I know if Team USA were to win, I know the overwhelming MVP would be my guy, Aaron Judge. Absolutely. But Bobby Witt is a surprise, but hardly a stretch, given his emergence as one of baseball's brightest stars. Witt was part of Team USA's roster at the 2023 World Baseball Classic, but with only one season under his belt at the time. He sat behind some of his more experienced teammates and tallied only 2 at-bats in that entire tournament. It's a different story this time around, with Witt positioned as an integral part of Team USA's lineup. For the Dominican Republic, obviously Juan Soto is the one to watch. And when it comes to Team Japan, it's obviously that that two-headed monster known as Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yamamoto coming off World Series MVP honors at this past World Series. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Team USA who wins the World Baseball Classic. But would I be surprised if the DR wins it? Absolutely not. Would I be surprised if Japan wins again? No. Especially with Ohtani and Yamamoto leading the way? Certainly not. But make no mistake about it, it's going to be fun to watch. We can't wait to get into it. And to all the teams in this tournament, it's very simply said, may the best team win. So that is that. So that will put the bow on this special edition of TXN Sports World. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again at this time tomorrow night, 11 p.m. tomorrow night, immediately following SmackDown. We got the Cerebral Smack Talk, and we got a big one. So MF, hopefully we can do this show tomorrow night because we got a big one. Not just a live TNA Impact tonight, but also Friday night SmackDown, and we got ourselves one hell of a main event. A return match, nearly 2 months in the making, made by General Manager Nick Aldis during the Elimination Chamber post-show. Cody Rhodes will get his rematch, courtesy of Nick Aldis. Drew McIntyre said no rematch. Well, Nick Aldis overruled him. It will happen. Drew McIntyre will defend the undisputed WWE Championship against the American Nightmare and 2-time former title holder in his own right, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody looking for the three-peat. We'll see if he can make it a three-peat tomorrow night. And we're going to be on top of all that tomorrow night. Not only TNA, not only SmackDown, but we also will have our preview of NXT Vengeance Day as well. NXT Vengeance Day takes place this Saturday night at the Performance Center, the CWC in Orlando. We'll preview that. And then either Saturday or Sunday, we will maybe Saturday, because I know MF will probably want to get into the AAA show. But I do believe Saturday, maybe even Sunday, we will have our recap of NXT Vengeance Day. And then Tuesday night, we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw and NXT as always. And then we'll let you know the future content following that. So that's it. So until tomorrow night, the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, BraceFan 95. This is Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. And of course, always and forever, our First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching this special edition of TXN Sports World, our preview of the 2026 World Baseball Classic, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.